Hi, and welcome back to Engineering ADHD, the channel where we try to make sense of this crazy attention deficit disorder thing. My name is Mike, and it's been a rough week. The primary message of this video, the one that I really wanted to talk about, was that it's okay to say no. I've run into a lot of RSD this week. I've run into a lot of not feeling great about the position that I'm in. And I'm having a bit of trouble trying to figure out if my reactions are real. If I'm actually feeling what I think I'm feeling. And I'm having some trouble with this. Alright, welcome to ADHD, right? So, I'll give you a quick background. I normally love my job, but since the working from home thing has started, that has really changed for me. I don't like working from home. I don't like the lack of the social experience that I'm getting with the work from home situation that we're in right now. Don't get me wrong. I understand that coronavirus and SARS-CoV-2 has an R-naught factor of 4.5 right now. It is a very deadly virus, and we need this reaction. I'm not saying that we don't. I'm just saying that for some of us, it's a little harder than others. As I've said 1,000 times, I'm wearing a mask every time I go out. I'm going out as little as possible. I'm doing my part, and I get it. And yes, there's going to be a emotional and psychological cost to that for a lot of people. Neuroatypical probably gets hit a little harder than the neurotypical, but I'm not going to say that specifically because it's a generalization. So I wanted to talk today about the concept of it's okay to say no. I don't know if every person with ADHD has this issue, but I've talked to a lot of people, and it seems like it's very hard for us to say no. And I think there's a couple of reasons. And I don't think they're all ADHD related. I think a lot of it can come from having a childhood where you were different. So you would do everything in your power to try to fit in. And you would bend who you are, you would try to change who you are to have friends and to have people want to be around you. And one of the things that I found through having a childhood much like this, being the nerd in school, was that I constantly felt like I needed to prove my value as a friend. This is a bad mentality to have, and it is taking me years to get over it. So that, coupled with the strong empathy that we find in ADHD brains, and in several neuroatypical styles, tends to promote a larger sense of empathy inside of a person. It can make it hard to say no when somebody asks you to do something. But at the same time, you really need to take a look at what you're being asked to do, how much time you actually have, and can you actually complete this? Because you want to say yes to every project. Right? And then you have the flip side that some other people have described as you have two dogs in your brain, or two wolves in your brain. One sees a new project and just wants to jump on it, and the other one's like, well, the old stuff needs to get done, and you wind up with 1,000 incomplete projects. Which gets to the point of why it's okay to say no. Just because somebody wants you to do something with them. Just because somebody has an interesting project, just because somebody needs a favor, doesn't mean that you have to say yes, and if you don't say yes, you're not their friend. That's completely... It's how I feel when I'm put into that situation, and I have to bring myself out of it, and I have to think myself out of it, and I have to understand that my buddy's going to be my buddy whether or not I can help him move that day. If I have 8 other commitments that I can't move for that time period that he needs me to do something, and I tell him, like, look, I can't. right? I have so much stuff going on. Chances are he's going to be 100% fine with that. In fact, he's going to be better with that than me saying, I will show up and help you move, and then I either don't or I'm there for 10 minutes. Both of those are worse. So I think it's very important that we be very realistic with ourselves, we be very honest with ourselves, and understand that it's okay for us to say no. It's okay for us to not always be the one that tries to solve issues, tries to bend their world, take care of everyone else. That we need to focus occasionally on us and take care of us. Because if you're not the most important person in your life, then there's a weird dichotomy going on. You need to take care of yourself before you take care of anyone else. It's the oxygen mask principle, right? When you're on a plane, right, and the plane's cabin depressurizes, you have about 15 seconds before you pass out. Put your own oxygen mask on before you help somebody else. So, I think I need to step back, and I think I need to evaluate some stuff that's going on. I certainly need to reevaluate when I say no to projects. And I think that might be tying into why I'm not doing so well right now. Working from home, obviously I'm working in the lab. My brain is trained to do projects here, so it's not trained to do my profession here. And I think I'm having a lot of trouble with that. So what happens is I get up in the morning, I come into the lab, and my brain goes, oh, we're supposed to work on projects because we're in the lab. And I try to force it to do my job, and I'm successful, and I get my job done, and it works, right? But then later in the night, I try to come back into the lab, and my brain's like, oh, we're working again? And I have a really hard time bringing my brain back to, this is where we do projects. So, this has resulted in a situation where I don't enjoy my job right now. And I know that it has nothing to do with the job. I don't enjoy the process of working. I don't enjoy working with customers, and I'm not even really enjoying solving the issues. It doesn't help that we've hit a situation where I work where every second call is the exact same issue over again. For those of you who don't know, I used to do Xbox customer support back in the Xbox 360 days. If you guys are old enough to remember the 3 red light error, because Microsoft was brilliant and gave one error message for 10,000 possible failures. It was always the same script over and over and over again. And anybody who has ADHD, any of us neuroatypicals, will catch on to this quite well. Repetition being my job is not a good thing. We don't do well at repetition. So, I think there's a couple of wolves that are causing the issues in my head right now. And part of me does want to jump and go look for another job because it thinks that that's the issue, but I don't think that's the issue. So, while yes, I'm going to start to see what's available to me in the professional world for me to move to another position, I'm also going to not make any decisions too quickly. And just because an opportunity is presented to me doesn't mean I'm going to say yes. It's okay to say no. So, I think, I don't know if anybody else, this rings true for anybody else, but if it does, comments down below. Let me know. I love to talk to you guys. I know that we don't have a huge community here yet. I'm hoping that this grows. I'm hoping that this works. I know that sometimes the mental health issues that I'm having, especially dealing with this pandemic, make it hard for me to get videos out on a schedule. I announced that I'm back and I immediately missed the next video. So hopefully we can work together and we can move forward, but I would love to hear from you guys. Either the comments down below, the email at the end of the videos, whatever you are comfortable with, let me know. If you're experiencing something similar, if you're in a situation where you're working from home and all of a sudden your job feels vastly different to you. I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know if I'm reacting to changes that have come down the pipe in our company, or if it's the pandemic, and I kind of need to figure this out, and I don't think I'm going to be able to see if it's me on my own. As always, thank you for joining me in Engineering ADHD. I hope you learned something today, and remember, there will always be someone who does not see the unique gifts of your brain. Don't let that person be you.